Spangled Banner is the national anthem of the United States of America. The lyrics come from Defense of Fort McHenry, a poem written in 1814 by the 35-year-old lawyer and amateur poet Francis Scott Key, after having witnessed the bombardment of Fort McHenry by the British Royal Navy ships in Chesapeake Bay during the Battle of Fort McHenry in the War of 1812. The poem was set to the tune of a popular British song written by John Stafford Smith for the Anacreontic Society, a men's social club in London. The Anacreontic song, with various lyrics, was already popular in the United States. Set to Key's poem and renamed the Star-Spangled Banner, it would soon become a well-known American patriotic song. With a range of 1.5 octaves, it is known for being difficult to sing. Although the poem has 4 stanzas, only the first is commonly sung today. The Star-Spangled Banner was recognized for official use by the Navy in 1889 and by President Woodrow Wilson in 1916, and was made the national anthem by a congressional resolution on March 3, 1931, which was signed by President Herbert Hoover. Please rise and salute the flag that's not here as the band plays our national anthem. Sorry guys, the flag's over there. Happy 4th of July, good evening, and welcome to our 7th concert of the season. Up next, we're going to hear Americans We, which was a march composed by Henry Fillmore. Fillmore is most famous for his series of 15 tunes called The Trombone Family, all of which feature his signature trombone smear. Americans We is a very uplifting and distinctly American-sounding piece, and one of Fillmore's best-known marches. Fillmore had many problems deciding on a title for this march. His band was giving a series of concerts at the local zoo, so he would introduce the new work as the Cincinnati Zoo one day and as Pure Food and Health the next. Finally, realizing that it was probably his finest march, he published it in 1929 as Americans We and dedicated it to all of us. Vivacious, solid, and appealing, this march has the qualities that characterized Fillmore's long life as an irresistible public performer. I hope you enjoyed this piece, Americans We. Armed Forces Salute was arranged by Bob Loden. It features the official song for each branch of the armed forces. The Cassins Go Rolling Along for the Army, Semper Paratus for the Coast Guard, the Marines Hymn, the U.S. Air Force, and Anchors Away for the Navy. If you are a veteran or member of the armed forces, would you please rise so we can honor you right now? Please, anyone? No? There they are. Feel free to stand when you hear your branch's song during this piece, Armed Forces Salute. American Patrol is a popular march written by F.W. Meacham in 1885. Written originally for piano, it was then arranged for wind bands and published by Carly Disher in 1891. It was later arranged for Glenn Miller's Swing Band by Jerry Gray in 1941 and was also arranged by composer Morton Gold. It incorporates melodies from other patriotic American songs from the era such as Columbia, The Gem of the Ocean, and Dixie. The patrol format was popular in the second half of the 19th century, and a number of compositions are so entitled. The format was intended to represent a military band approaching, passing, and fading into the distance. It usually involved an introduction played by piano and pianissimo, in imitating bugle calls or drums, then a theme played a little bit louder, and then another very loud theme, return to the first theme gradually dying away, and then finishing at pianissimo, piano pianissimo, or even softer, dynamic-wise. I hope you enjoy this piece, American Patrol. Bless the USA is an American patriotic song written and recorded by country music artist Lee Greenwood. It reached number 7 on the Billboard magazine Hot Country Singles chart when originally released in the spring of 1984 and was played at the 1984 Republican National Convention with President Ronald Reagan and First Lady Nancy Reagan in attendance. The song gained greater prominence during the Gulf War in 1990 and 1991 as a way of boosting morale. The popularity of the song rose sharply after the September 11, 2001 attacks and during the 2003 invasion of Iraq, and the song was released as a single re-entering the country music charts at number 16. Greenwood said that he, quote, wanted to write it my whole life. When I got to that point, we were doing 300 days a year on the road, and we were on our 4th or 5th album on MCA. I called my producer and I said, I have a need to do this. I've always wanted to write a song about America, and I said, we just need to be more united, end quote. Feel free to sing along to this heartfelt song, God Bless the USA. National Emblem is a march composed in 1902 and published in 1906 by Edwin Eugene Bagley. Bagley composed the score during a 1902 train tour with his family band. He became frustrated with the ending and tossed the composition into the trash can. Members of the band fortunately retrieved it and secretly rehearsed the score in the baggage car. Bagley was surprised when the band informed him minutes before the next concert that they would perform it. It became the most famous of all of Bagley's marches. John Philip Sousa once asked to list the 3 most effective street marches ever written. Not surprisingly, Sousa listed 2 of his own compositions, but for the 3rd, he selected this piece, National Emblem. National Emblem was the favorite march composition of Frederick Fennell as well, who made an arrangement of it in 1981. Fennell called the piece as perfect a march as a march can be. Prepare to hear perfection in this piece, National Emblem.
Thank you.
At this point in our concert, I would like to thank Channel 990, 991 for filming tonight's performance. Thank you very much. America the Beautiful is an American patriotic song. The lyrics were written by Catherine Lee Bates and the music composed by church organist and choir master Samuel Augustus Ward. Bates originally wrote the words as a poem, Pike's Peak, first published in the 4th of July edition of the church periodical, The Congregationalist, in 1895. In 1893, at the age of 33, Bates, an English professor at Wellesley College, had taken a train trip to Colorado Springs, Colorado, to teach a short summer school session at the Colorado College. Several of the sights on her trip inspired her, and they found their way into her poem, including the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, the White City with its promise of the future contained within its alabaster buildings, the wheat fields of America's heartland, Kansas, through which her train was riding on July 16th, and, of course, the majestic view of the Great Plains from atop Zebulon's Pike's Peak. On the pinnacle of that mountain, the words of the poem started to come to her, and she wrote them down upon returning to her hotel room at the original Antlers Hotel. The poem was initially published 2 years later to commemorate the 4th of July. Ward's music, combined with the Bates poem, was first published in 1910 and titled America the Beautiful. Close your eyes and imagine the picturesque scenes that Bates would have seen on her cross-country journey as you listen to America the Beautiful as arranged by Carmen Dragon. The Liberty Bell March was composed by John Philip Sousa in 1893. It is often associated with the British TV comedy program Monty Python's Flying Circus. The Liberty Bell was written for Sousa's unfinished operetta, The Devil's Deputy, which fell through. Shortly afterwards, Sousa and his band manager George Hinton attended the Columbian Exposition in Chicago and watched the spectacle America, in which a backdrop depicting the Liberty Bell was lowered. Hinton suggested the Liberty Bell as the title of Sousa's recently completed march. Coincidentally, Sousa received a letter from his wife saying their son had marched in a parade in honor of the Liberty Bell. Sousa agreed. The march is played as part of an exhibit in the Liberty Bell Center. The United States Marine Corps Band has played the Liberty Bell March at the last 4 presidential inaugurations: the 1993 inauguration of President Bill Clinton, the 2005 inauguration of President George W. Bush, and the 2009 and 2013 inaugurations of President Barack Obama. So maybe they'll play it again next year. The Liberty Bell is also the official march past of the Canadian Forces Public Affairs Branch. Please enjoy this class of Sousa march and my personal favorite, the Liberty Bell March. Two of our nation's most beloved hymns, God of Our Fathers and Battle Hymn of the Republic, are combined in this arrangement entitled A Nation's Prayer. Both of these hymns capture the spirit of this country and appeal to the patriotic fervor that is in the heart of every responsible citizen. This arrangement is a tribute to those who have served and to those that continue to serve this nation in times of conflict. Starting in the chorale-like style stating the themes, this arrangement concludes in a bright fanfare statement with a musical tip of the hat to My Country 'Tis of Thee. The version we'll hear tonight was arranged by James D. Ployhar. I hope you enjoy this piece, A Nation's Prayer. March King. Stars and Stripes Forever is an American march widely considered to be the magnum opus of composer John Philip Sousa. By act of Congress, it is the national march of the United States of America. In his autobiography, Marching Along, Sousa wrote that he composed the march on Christmas Day, 1896. He was on an ocean liner on his way home from a vacation with his wife in Europe and had just learned of the recent death of David Blakely, the manager of the Sousa Band. He composed the march in his head and committed the notes to paper on arrival in the United States. The march was an immediate success, and Sousa's band played it at almost every concert until his death over 25 years later. Sousa's last appearance before the Marine Band was on the occasion of the Carabao Wallow of 1932 in Washington, D.C. Sousa, as a distinguished guest, rose from the speaker's table, took the baton from Captain Taylor Branson, who was the band's director at the time, and led the band in Stars and Stripes Forever. Later that year, after conducting a rehearsal of the Ringgold Band in Reading, Pennsylvania, the 77-year-old Sousa passed away. The last piece Sousa had rehearsed with his band was this piece, The Stars and Stripes Forever. John Philip Sousa died on March 6, 1932 in his hotel room at the age of 77. 8 years later, in 1940, the U.S. Postal Service issued a commemorative 2-cent stamp with Sousa's image. Sousa also composed lyrics to the march, which are not as well known as the music itself. I'm sure you'll recognize this well-known march, Stars and Stripes Forever. to our 4th of July concert of this 2016 season. I, of course, would like to thank all of you for coming out tonight to support and enjoy the St. Genevieve Municipal Band. Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you again to Channel 990, 991 for recording tonight's performance, and of course to Jim Donzi and the setup crew for getting everything ready for this concert. Let's also give them a quick round of applause. Hope you all have a safe and wonderful evening. Hopefully we don't get rained on. Enjoy the fireworks, and feel free to come out to our 8th concert of the season, which will be this Thursday in the Valley Desert at 8 p.m. Thank you.